Hey there, fellow sleepy minds. I'm the sleepy biologist, and today we're diving into a dreamy question. Do animals dream just like we do? But first, tell me in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? I love seeing how far the curiosity travels. Whether you're in a bustling city or somewhere quiet with crickets chirping, you're in the right place. Grab a cozy drink, settle in, and let's explore what happens inside the sleeping minds of animals, from your pet dog to wild dolphins. When we talk about dreams, especially in the context of animals, we have to start by asking a deceptively simple question. What is a dream really? To most of us, dreams are those strange little movies our brains play while we're asleep. Sometimes they're vivid and colourful. Sometimes they're weird or terrifying or even completely nonsensical. But from a biological perspective, dreams are a bit more grounded than that. They are the subjective experiences we have during sleep, particularly during a stage called REM sleep, short for rapid eye movement. This stage is named after the flickering movements our eyes make beneath closed eyelids while we're deep in rest. REM sleep is fascinating. During this phase, your brain becomes surprisingly active. In fact, it's almost as active as it is when you're awake. Brain scans show that multiple areas of the brain light up. The amygdala, which is involved in emotions, the hippocampus, which is essential for memory, and the visual cortex, which helps process images. These brain regions fire away, even though your body is paralyzed, keeping you from physically acting out what's happening in your mind. Dreams often appear to be built from fragments of memory, emotion, and sensory information. Scientists believe that dreaming may play a role in emotional regulation, memory consolidation, and even problem solving. You might have heard of the phrase "sleep on it." It turns out that may have some truth to it. The dreaming brain could be simulating scenarios, processing emotional events, or just doing a bit of mental housekeeping. Now that's us, humans. We can describe our dreams. We can wake up and tell a friend, "I had the weirdest dream last night, and for some reason I was being chased by a giant squirrel through a library." But animals? They can't exactly tell us what they dreamed about. So how do we even begin to explore the idea that animals might dream? And dream in ways similar to us? The key lies in neuroscience and behavioral observation. Researchers look for the same signs in animals that we associate with dreaming in humans. Brainwave patterns during sleep, especially REM sleep, and observable behaviors like twitching, vocalizing, or eye movement. For example, when a sleeping dog's paws start paddling like it's running, or it lets out a little bark, it's hard not to imagine it chasing a ball in its dreams. But let's be clear, just because our REM sleep happens doesn't necessarily prove that dreaming occurs. The experience of a dream, what philosophers and scientists sometimes call qualia, or the internal subjective aspect of perception, is much harder to measure. That's especially true in animals, because we don't have access to their inner experience. All we can do is compare what we see in their brains and bodies with what we know about ourselves. There's also some debate in the scientific community about what counts as a true dream. Some researchers define dreaming narrowly as the vivid, narrative-like mental experience we have during REM sleep. Others take a broader view, including simpler mental imagery or fragmented thoughts that could occur in other stages of sleep. Still, what makes a dream, whether in us or in animals, might come down to this: internally generated imagery and emotion that happen while the brain is disconnected from the outside world. You're not responding to sounds, smells, or sights in real time. Instead, your brain is pulling from memory, emotion, and imagination to create a kind of internal simulation. That concept, an internal simulation, is powerful. And it's what scientists believe might be happening in many animals, from mice to monkeys, and maybe even in some creatures we wouldn't expect, like octopuses. But before we get ahead of ourselves, it's important to understand that the very foundation of this idea starts with defining the dream as a neural event, something measurable, something physical, even if the experience itself feels magical. So when we ask, do animals dream like we do, we're really asking two things. First, do animals produce the same kind of brain activity we do when we dream? And second, could they be experiencing something internally, something vivid, emotional, maybe even meaningful, as we do? To explore that, we need to take a look at sleep itself across the animal kingdom, because the more we understand about how animals sleep, the closer we get to unlocking the mystery of whether they dream and what those dreams might look like. To understand animal dreams, or even our own dreams for that matter, we need to take a closer look at something called REM sleep. That's where the magic happens. REM stands for rapid eye movement, and it's one of the most intriguing and mysterious stages of the sleep cycle. It's named, pretty obviously, after the rapid movements our eyes make beneath our eyelids while we're asleep. But what those eyes are doing, and what the brain is doing behind the scenes, is anything but simple. Sleep in general is made up of cycles. In humans, there are 4 main stages, and they repeat in roughly 90-minute loops throughout the night. The first few stages are considered non-REM sleep. These are the deeper, more restorative phases where the body repairs tissue, the immune system gets a boost, and your heart rate slows down. Then comes REM, the weird one. During REM sleep, the brain lights up in ways that are shockingly similar to when we're awake. EEG recordings, that's electroencephalograms, the squiggly line brain scans, show patterns of electrical activity that mimic wakefulness. Yet, despite all that brain activity, your muscles go almost completely limp. This temporary paralysis is called atonia, and it's actually a safety feature. It prevents you from physically acting out your dreams. Imagine dreaming of flying or running and suddenly leaping out of bed. Not ideal. REM sleep is strongly linked to vivid dreaming. When people are woken up during REM sleep, they almost always report detailed, immersive dreams, full of colors, emotions, characters, storylines, and sometimes complete nonsense. By contrast, if you're woken during non-REM sleep, your dreams, if you remember them at all, tend to be hazy, fragmented, or emotionally flat. Scientists believe that REM sleep isn't just dreamland. It may also serve critical functions for the brain. There's a growing body of evidence suggesting that REM helps us process emotions, consolidate memories, and even rehearse or simulate complex experiences. In a way, it's like the brain is running simulations, reliving events, replaying conversations, testing out scenarios, while you're unconscious. And here's where it gets really interesting. REM sleep isn't unique to humans. It's been observed in a wide range of animals: cats, dogs, rats, birds, even some reptiles. In some cases, scientists have recorded brainwave patterns in animals that look almost identical to human REM activity. Dogs, for example, enter REM sleep after about 20 minutes of rest, and they twitch, vocalize, and move their legs, behaviors that suggest dreamlike experiences. Rats, in one famous experiment, were trained to run through a maze. Later, while sleeping, their brains fired in patterns that match the neural activity from when they were navigating the maze, almost like they were rerunning it in their dreams. But REM sleep isn't the same across species. In humans, REM takes up about 20–25% of total sleep time. In other animals, that percentage can vary wildly. Baby animals, like puppies or human infants, spend a lot more time in REM, possibly because their brains are developing rapidly and need the extra processing time. Some animals, like elephants and giraffes, seem to get very little REM sleep, and very little sleep in general. So does that mean they don't dream? Or that their dreams are just different? That's still up for debate. Then there are animals with truly strange sleep patterns. Dolphins and certain species of whales have what's called unihemispheric sleep, where only one half of the brain sleeps at a time, while the other half stays alert. This lets them surface for air and keep an eye out for predators even while resting. But this also means they get very little, if any, REM sleep. So again, the question comes up. If they don't enter REM, do they dream at all? Or have they evolved some alternative form of dreaming that we haven't yet figured out how to detect? Birds add another twist to the story. Many species of birds show REM sleep, but it's often incredibly brief, sometimes just a few seconds long. Yet in some birds, like zebra finches, researchers have found brain patterns during REM that suggest they might be rehearsing songs in their sleep, just like a human might mentally rehearse a speech or a piano piece. So even these microbursts of REM could still be windows into a dreaming brain. There's also the question of when REM evolved. Did it appear early in animal evolution, shared by a common ancestor? Or did it evolve independently in different lineages? That's a massive question in biology, and the answer isn't fully known yet. What we do know is that REM-like sleep has been observed in reptiles and even some fish, although the data is still emerging. If true REM sleep, and by extension dreaming, exists in these animals, it would suggest that the ability to dream may be far more ancient and widespread than we ever thought. One more fascinating aspect: the emotional function of REM. Studies in humans have shown that REM sleep helps with emotional regulation. After a stressful day, we tend to get more REM sleep, almost like the brain is prioritizing emotional repair. Could the same be true for animals? Could a dog that's had a chaotic, overstimulating day experience more REM sleep to process it? Could a stressed out bird dream more intensely after a narrow escape from a predator? It's hard to prove, but it's not out of the question. So, to put it simply, REM sleep is the stage of sleep where our brains are most alive with internal activity. It's the space where memory, emotion, and imagination blend into the strange phenomenon we call dreaming. And while humans are the only species that can describe their dreams out loud, there's mounting evidence that many animals enter this mysterious realm too, flickering with twitching paws, fluttering feathers, or gentle shifts in eye movement as they lie still in the dark. The real question is, how similar are their inner experiences to ours? And that's where science meets wonder. We're going to talk about dreams. We have to talk about sleep. Because dreams, at least as we currently understand them, don't exist without it. But here's where things get surprisingly complicated. Do all animals actually sleep? At first glance, the answer seems obvious. We've all seen dogs curled up in a sunbeam, cats snoozing for hours on end, and even birds fluffing their feathers and tucking their heads beneath their wings. But what about jellyfish? Or insects? or fish that never seem to stop swimming. The deeper you go into the animal kingdom, the blurrier the concept of sleep becomes. In humans, sleep is clearly defined by certain behavioral and physiological criteria. We become less responsive to external stimuli. We assume a particular posture, usually horizontal, and our brain waves follow predictable patterns. These features, reduced awareness, physical stillness, and a change in brain activity, have become the gold standard for identifying sleep across species. But not every animal checks all those boxes, at least not in ways that are easy to measure. Let's start with mammals. Almost all mammals sleep. In fact, sleep seems to be absolutely essential to their survival. Lab studies have shown that if rats are kept awake continuously, even when food and water are available, they eventually die. It's not entirely clear why they die, but the implication is chilling. Whatever sleep is doing for the body and brain, it's not optional. It's non-negotiable. Among mammals, the sleep habits vary dramatically. Lions can sleep up to 20 hours a day. Horses and elephants, just a few hours. Bats sleep upside down for 18 hours straight, while dolphins have evolved a way to sleep with only half their brain at a time. This variation seems to be linked to ecological pressures. How often the animal needs to eat, whether it has to watch for predators, how safe its sleeping environment is, and how much energy it needs to conserve. Birds too sleep, but their sleep is often shorter and lighter. Many birds engage in unihemispheric slow-wave sleep, where one half of the brain sleeps while the other remains awake and alert. This allows them to rest while perched in dangerous locations or even while flying long distances during migration. Yes, birds have been recorded sleeping mid-flight. Their brains take turns napping, one hemisphere at a time, so they can maintain a level of awareness while still getting the rest they need. It's sleep, just strategically divided. Reptiles sleep as well, though their sleep patterns are different and harder to study. Recent studies using brain imaging have shown that certain lizards go through cycles of brain activity that resemble both REM and non-REM sleep, suggesting that some form of sleep architecture might exist even outside warm-blooded animals. That's a big deal, because it pushes the origins of sleep back even further in evolutionary history. Amphibians, frogs, salamanders, and their squishy relatives are trickier. Some species appear to rest in a sleep-like state, but their brain wave patterns are not well documented, and much of their behavior is highly variable. They often rely more on behavior than biology to define sleep. Periods of immobility, reduced responsiveness, and predictable timing. But whether they experience sleep the same way mammals and birds do is still uncertain. Fish pose an even more puzzling case. Many species never stop moving, especially those that need to keep water flowing through their gills to breathe. Yet even fish show signs of rest. They hover in place. Their metabolic rate drops. Their responsiveness decreases. Zebrafish, for instance, have been studied in laboratories and show sleep-like states with clear genetic and neurological regulation. Some fish even perch themselves in rocks or bury themselves in sand at night. It may not look like a cozy nap under a blanket, but it still counts as a form of rest, and possibly sleep. Then there are invertebrates, animals without backbones, which make up the vast majority of life on Earth. Do they sleep? It turns out many do, in their own strange ways. Fruit flies have been extensively studied, and they exhibit sleep-like behavior, periods of immobility, reduced responsiveness to stimuli, and even something like sleep rebound, meaning they sleep more after being kept awake. That rebound effect is considered one of the strongest indicators of true sleep. Bees and ants also show clear rest cycles, and in bees, sleep deprivation impairs their ability to perform complex behaviors like the waggle dance. That's not just tiredness, that's sleep affecting cognition. Perhaps the most astonishing example comes from jellyfish, animals without brains. In 2017, researchers studying a jellyfish called Cassiopeia found that it enters periods of quiescence at night. Its pulsating movement slows down. It becomes less responsive to stimuli, and it even shows a kind of sleep debt. When kept awake, it later enters deeper, longer rest. That suggests that sleep, or at least the fundamental need for rest, might predate the evolution of the brain itself. Think about that. Sleep may not have evolved because of the brain, but alongside it. As if rest is a foundational rhythm of life, not just a neurological luxury. So, do all animals sleep? Based on what we know today, the answer seems to be yes. Though how they sleep, when they sleep, and what sleep looks like can vary dramatically. Some animals enter deep REM-like stages, while others experience only the most basic form of inactivity and unresponsiveness. Some sleep for minutes at a time, others for nearly an entire day. Some sleep with one eye open, literally. Sleep appears to be one of those universal biological processes that transcends the boundaries we draw between species. Whether it's a bat in a cave, a parrot in a rainforest, a dolphin beneath the waves, or even a tiny fly in your kitchen, almost every creature needs some form of rest. And that brings us back to our original question. If so many animals sleep, and some even show REM-like activity, then are they dreaming too? To explore that, we'll need to look closer at how brains behave during sleep, and whether those flickers of movement and surges of neural activity are signs of something more: internal experiences, imagined spaces, emotional echoes, dreams. Let's imagine for a second that you're watching your dog sleep. She's curled up on the floor, breathing softly. Suddenly, her paws start twitching, her ears flick. She lets out a small bark, maybe even a whimper. Her legs move just a little, like she's running. You smile and think, she's dreaming. But how do we actually know that? What makes us interpret those movements as dreaming, and not just random nerve firings? More importantly, how do scientists try to confirm something as inherently internal and invisible as a dream, especially in creatures that can't speak? This is where the science gets both fascinating and frustrating. We can't ask a rat what it dreamt about. A cat can't tell us it was flying or reliving its morning hunt. So, to study animal dreams, scientists look for something else. Patterns. Patterns in behavior, in brainwaves, and in neurological activity that align with what we observe in dreaming humans. One of the first major breakthroughs came from research on rats in the late 1990s. At MIT, researchers trained rats to run through mazes while measuring their brain activity, specifically in the hippocampus, the region of the brain responsible for memory and spatial navigation. Each time the rats ran a specific path, certain neurons would fire in a recognizable sequence. Think of it like a melody being played across the brain. Step by step, corner by corner, the brain sang a neurological song of the maze. Then, While the rats were asleep, the researchers recorded their brain activity again. Incredibly, the same sequences of neurons fired, in the exact same order, as when the rats were awake and running. It was as if the rats were rerunning the maze in their sleep. And here's the kicker. Sometimes the sequences ran faster during sleep than they had in real life, suggesting the rats were mentally replaying the experience in a compressed form. This was one of the earliest and clearest signs that animals might rehearse their waking experiences while asleep, a key function we associate with dreaming in humans. Another compelling case comes from cats. Back in the 1960s, French neuroscientist Michel Jouvet conducted a now famous experiment. He studied cats during REM sleep, and in particular, he altered a tiny part of the brainstem responsible for muscle paralysis during REM. The result? The cats acted out their dreams. They would rear up, hiss, bat at invisible prey, or even crouch and pounce. Their eyes were closed, and they were clearly asleep, but their behavior was unmistakably purposeful. It looked as if they were dreaming of hunting. This concept, acting out dreams when the normal REM paralysis is disabled, became foundational in linking REM behavior to dreaming in animals. In humans, a similar condition exists called REM sleep behavior disorder, where the brain fails to fully paralyze the body during REM. People with this disorder have been known to punch, kick, talk, or run while asleep, and often, when awakened, they report vivid dreams that match their movements. If that's true in humans, and if similar patterns occur in cats or other animals, it strongly suggests they may be dreaming too. We also see suggestive evidence in dogs. If you've ever had a dog, you've probably seen the twitching paws, the muffled barks, the tail that thumps mid-nap. But scientists have gone deeper. In dogs, the brain structure and sleep stages are remarkably similar to those of humans. Dogs cycle through non-REM and REM sleep, and EEGs, those brain scans measuring electrical activity, show that their REM phases come with the same kind of irregular, active brain patterns associated with dreaming in people. Researchers believe that dogs likely dream about dog-related things, chasing balls, playing with their humans, exploring their surroundings. And here's a fun fact. Smaller dogs tend to have more frequent dreams, while larger dogs have fewer but longer ones. A Chihuahua might dream every 10 minutes, while a Labrador might dream every 90 minutes. Just imagine the Chihuahua having quick bursts of zoomy adventures, while the Lab is taking a deep dive into one long, epic squirrel chase. And then we come to birds. For a long time, scientists thought dreaming might be limited to mammals, but birds have shaken that idea. Zebra finches, for instance, tiny, colourful songbirds, learn their songs in a way that's remarkably similar to how humans learn language. Researchers found that during sleep, zebra finches activate the same neural patterns they use when singing while awake. In other words, they appear to be rehearsing their songs in their sleep. These song replays occur during REM sleep, and they're especially active during the learning phase of life, suggesting that sleep, and possibly dreaming, helps them master communication. This kind of mental rehearsal is one of the most compelling theories for why dreams evolved. They might not just be weird movies in our heads. They might be simulations. Practice. Rehearsal for real-life challenges. If that's true, then it makes perfect sense that animals, especially social or intelligent ones, would benefit from dreaming just as we do. And yet, we hit a wall. We don't have access to the subjective experience of an animal. We can see the twitching, the brain waves, the song rehearsals, But we can't know for certain what a rat feels during those maze replays. We don't know if the cat is truly seeing a bird in its mind, or if the dog's dream has a beginning, middle, and end like ours might. We're watching shadows through a keyhole, tantalizing, suggestive, but still out of reach. Despite these limits, new technologies are giving us better glimpses. Functional MRI, fMRI, calcium imaging, and advanced EEG systems are helping scientists map activity in real time, even during sleep. And as more animals, including fish, octopuses, and reptiles, are studied in this way, we're beginning to uncover even more species that show REM-like activity and behavior. The frontier of dream research is no longer confined to just mammals. It's expanding. And it's pointing toward a deep biological truth, that the experience of dreaming, or something very much like it, might be shared across a surprisingly wide swath of life. So when your cat twitches, or your bird murmurs in its sleep, it might not be random at all. It could be dreaming, just like you. Only instead of worrying about work deadlines or losing your phone, maybe it's dreaming of flight, of food, of familiar faces, or maybe, just maybe, of you. And that possibility, that our animal companions might share in the strangeness, the mystery, and maybe even the wonder of dreams, is one of the most quietly beautiful thoughts science has given us. Let's dive deeper into the idea of dreams by asking a simple but profound question. What purpose do dreams actually serve? In humans, scientists have proposed a whole variety of functions for dreaming. Some think dreams are just a byproduct of random brain activity during sleep. Essentially, the brain's neurons firing without much rhyme or reason. Others suggest that dreams help us process memories, regulate emotions, or even solve problems creatively. But what about animals? If they dream, what might their dreams be doing for them? To explore this, it helps to think about the brain's primary job during sleep, organizing and sorting the vast flood of information collected while awake. Imagine your brain as a librarian, overwhelmed with thousands of new books every day. Sleep is like the librarian's off hours, when she gets to file away the important books, discard the irrelevant ones, and make connections between different stories. In humans, many studies show that sleep, and especially REM sleep, helps solidify memories. If you learn a new skill or study for a test, sleeping afterward can improve your recall and performance. Animal brains face similar challenges. They must remember where food is hidden, learn how to avoid predators, recognize friends and foes, and navigate complex environments. Many animals also have social lives that require memory and emotional intelligence. Dreaming might be a way to practice these skills safely without the risks of real-world trial and error. For example, a fox might dream about hunting, running through a forest and stalking prey. A dolphin could be replaying social interactions with its pod. A songbird might rehearse its calls or mating songs. These dreams would serve as mental rehearsals, strengthening neural circuits and improving future performance. The idea is that the brain simulates scenarios during dreams, a virtual reality of sorts, that prepares the animal for challenges it will face when awake. There's also the emotional side. Dreams might help animals process stressful or traumatic experiences. Just as humans can dream to work through anxiety or fear, animals might use dreams to cope with threats and danger. This emotional processing would be crucial for survival, helping them maintain calm and focus during waking hours. Another interesting theory is that dreams support creativity and problem-solving. Even though animals don't come up with abstract art or complex inventions, many species show impressive problem-solving skills. Crows use tools, octopuses open jars, and dolphins invent new hunting techniques. Dreams could allow the brain to explore what-if scenarios, testing different strategies without real-world consequences. Of course, it's impossible to know for sure what animals experience during dreams, but behavioral and neurological evidence suggests that dreams are likely adaptive. They do more than just occupy the brain with random images. Dreams might be a key part of how brains of all kinds learn, adapt, and thrive. Finally, the very fact that REM sleep and dreaming-like states exist in so many different species, from mammals and birds to reptiles, and possibly even some fish and invertebrates, suggests that dreaming has been evolutionarily conserved for a reason. It's not just a quirk of human consciousness, but a vital biological process deeply rooted in the fabric of animal life. So next time you watch a sleeping pet twitch or a wild animal snooze, remember, behind those closed eyes, their brains might be rehearsing survival skills, processing emotions, or simply dreaming up new possibilities. Dreams could be nature's way of keeping their minds sharp, their emotions balanced, and their bodies ready for the next day's adventure. When we think about dreams in animals, one of the biggest mysteries revolves around their content. What are animals actually dreaming about? We can only guess based on their behavior, brain activity, and what we know about their waking lives. But this question invites a fascinating exploration into the minds of other creatures. First, it helps to consider what we dream about ourselves. Human dreams often reflect our daily experiences, our fears, hopes, memories, and desires. We might replay conversations, relive moments, or imagine scenarios that never happened. Dreams can be a complex mix of the familiar and the strange, weaving together fragments of reality with wild invention. Animals, of course, don't have language like we do, but they have rich sensory lives and instincts shaped by millions of years of evolution. So what goes on in their sleeping brains? For many animals, survival is a central theme: food, shelter, avoiding predators, mating. These are critical challenges that shape their waking and dreaming worlds. A mouse, for example, might dream about finding a safe path through a maze or hiding from a hungry cat. Those twitching paws or sudden jerks during sleep could be physical echoes of a mental chase or a narrow escape. In some cases, we see evidence that animals replay or practice behaviors important to their species. Take the example of songbirds, like zebra finches or canaries. These birds learn their songs much like humans learn language, by listening, mimicking, and practicing. During sleep, researchers have found that their brains rehearse these songs, strengthening the neural circuits needed for vocal performance. So their dreams might include echoes of melodies, practice runs, or even improvisations on their songs. Dreaming for them could be a creative musical rehearsal. Predator animals likely dream about hunting and stalking prey, while prey animals might dream about vigilance and escape. Dolphins and whales, highly social and intelligent mammals, may replay social interactions or explore complex underwater environments in their dreams. Since dolphins sleep with one hemisphere of their brain at a time, they might even experience dreams in halves. A fascinating possibility that shows how diverse dreaming can be. Another intriguing idea is that animals dream about social relationships. Many species live in groups or communities where cooperation and communication are vital. Elephants, primates, wolves, and some birds show complex social behaviors, empathy, and even grief. Dreams might help animals process social bonds, remember allies and rivals, or rehearse social interactions. It's possible that these social dreams are essential for maintaining group cohesion and survival. But what about animals with very different sensory worlds, like bats or octopuses? Bats use echolocation to see their environment through sound, so their dreams might be filled with sonar-like echoes and auditory landscapes. Octopuses, with their incredible intelligence and unique nervous systems spread throughout their arms, could be dreaming in ways we can barely imagine, perhaps exploring tactile sensations, color changes, or even complex problem-solving scenarios. Interestingly, some scientists speculate that animals might also dream about things they haven't directly experienced yet. Just like humans can have novel, creative dreams, animals might piece together fragments of memories into new combinations, inventing possible futures or solving problems unconsciously. This idea is still speculative, but opens a door to thinking about animal cognition in more imaginative ways. Of course, all of this remains partly guesswork. Without language, animals can't tell us what they see, feel, or experience in their dreams. But by studying brain activity, behaviors during sleep, and the biology of different species, scientists build hypotheses about dream content. The twitching paws of a sleeping dog, the quiet chirps of a dreaming bird, the sudden movements of a resting octopus. These are clues that hint at the rich, hidden inner lives of animals. In the end, pondering what animals dream about invites us to appreciate their lives more deeply. It reminds us that they, too, have mental worlds, shaped by their senses, their needs, their emotions, and their environments. Dreams might be one of the most intimate, mysterious ways in which animals experience their own existence, even when the rest of the world is quiet and still. So the next time you catch a glimpse of your cat's whiskers twitching during a nap, or hear a bird's soft murmurs at dusk, imagine the stories their minds might be weaving. Stories of survival, song, friendship, and adventure, played out in the secret theatre of dreams. If animals do dream, then an important question is, how similar are their dreams to ours? Do they have the same kind of vivid, narrative, emotional experiences that humans report? Or are their dreams something else entirely? To approach this question, it's helpful to first consider what makes human dreams unique, and then compare that with what science tells us about animals. Human dreams are incredibly complex. They often contain rich visual imagery, a sense of place and time, emotional highs and lows, and sometimes even a sense of self-awareness, the feeling that you are the dreamer inside the dream. Some people have lucid dreams, where they realize they are dreaming and can even control the narrative. Dreams can be bizarre and fragmented, but they can also be coherent stories with beginnings, middles, and ends. They often draw from memories but combine them in novel ways. We dream of people we know, places we've been, fears, hopes, and even abstract concepts. In short, human dreams are deeply layered and multifaceted. So what about animals? Do their dreams reach that same level of complexity, or are they simpler? The answer is that we don't know for sure, but by studying animal brains and behaviors, scientists have started to piece together clues. First, many animals exhibit rapid eye movement, REM sleep, which in humans is strongly associated with dreaming. During REM, brain activity resembles wakefulness, and the body is usually paralyzed except for small twitches. Animals like cats, dogs, rats, birds, and even some reptiles and fish enter REM sleep. This physiological similarity suggests that they experience some form of dream state. But that doesn't necessarily mean their dreams mirror the elaborate narratives we have. In smaller mammals and birds, for example, dreams may be more directly linked to immediate survival behaviors, hunting, foraging, social interaction, replayed or rehearsed in fragmented sequences. The classic experiment with rats replaying maze paths during REM hints that their dreams may consist largely of memories and rehearsals rather than fully developed stories. Their dreams could be more about practice and less about storytelling. At the same time, many social animals have complex brains capable of sophisticated cognition and emotion, including elephants, dolphins, and primates. Their waking lives involve empathy, cooperation, and even mourning. It's plausible their dreams reflect some of this complexity. Could an elephant dream about the loss of a family member? Might a dolphin dream of social interactions within its pod? These are exciting questions, but they remain speculative. One thing that might differ dramatically is the presence of language in dreams. Humans often hear words and hold conversations in dreams, but animals don't have language in the human sense. However, many animals communicate through sounds, gestures, or chemical signals. It's possible their dreams include these kinds of communication cues, like birds rehearsing songs or wolves practicing howling patterns. Another aspect to consider is the sensory world of animals. Human dreams are often highly visual, but animals rely on other senses, sometimes more dominantly. Dogs experience the world primarily through smell, bats through echolocation, and octopuses through touch and color changes. Their dreams might therefore be dominated by scents, sounds, or tactile sensations, rather than vivid imagery. Imagine a dog dreaming in a rich tapestry of smells, chasing scents through a forest, or a bat seeing its environment through sound echoes in its dreams. These sensory differences mean animal dreams might be fundamentally different from human dreams in texture and content, even if the underlying brain processes are comparable. It's also worth thinking about awareness within dreams. Humans can sometimes become lucid, realizing they are dreaming and even changing the dream's course. Do animals have any form of self-awareness in dreams? Some animals, like dolphins and great apes, show signs of self-awareness while awake. This raises the possibility that their dreams might contain some degree of metacognition, thinking about thinking, though this is a frontier area with little direct evidence. Ultimately, while animal dreams may share key features with ours, occurring during REM, involving memory replay, and including behavioral practice, they probably differ in important ways. Their sensory experiences, emotional complexity, narrative structure, and self-awareness could vary widely between species. Despite these differences, the existence of dreams in animals points to a fundamental biological function. Dreams, whatever their form, might help brains learn, adapt, and maintain emotional balance. They might be a universal experience for creatures with complex nervous systems, reflecting the intimate relationship between sleep, cognition, and survival. So while we may never fully know what an animal's dream feels like, we can appreciate that the mystery of dreams extends far beyond our own minds, into the secret lives of creatures who share this planet with us. And that mystery is part of what makes the study of sleep and dreams in animals so endlessly fascinating. When we consider whether animals dream like we do, one of the most intriguing and challenging questions arises: how do scientists actually study animal dreams? Unlike humans, animals can't describe their inner experiences, so researchers must rely on clever and indirect methods to peek into the mysterious world of animal sleep. This quest combines physiology, behavior, technology, and a bit of scientific detective work. One of the first steps in studying animal dreams is to identify when an animal is in a sleep phase, analogous to human REM sleep, the stage most closely linked with vivid dreaming. Researchers use tools like electroencephalograms, or EEGs, which measure electrical activity in the brain to detect the unique brainwave patterns of REM sleep. During REM, the brain shows fast, irregular waves similar to those seen when awake, and the body's muscles are typically paralyzed to prevent acting out dreams. By attaching tiny electrodes to animals' heads, scientists can monitor their sleep cycles with surprising accuracy. Once researchers know when an animal is in REM sleep, they observe what happens next. Many animals twitch their paws, whiskers, ears, or tails during REM, suggesting some kind of dream-related activity. In some studies, animals with disrupted muscle paralysis during REM act out complex behaviors like chasing or fighting, hinting that they might be reenacting dream scenarios. For example, cats with altered brainstem function during REM sleep have been seen pouncing or stalking imaginary prey, providing strong behavioral clues that dreaming occurs. Another major line of evidence comes from neuroscience experiments that track the brain's activity during sleep and compare it to waking behavior. In rats trained to navigate mazes, researchers discovered that the exact sequences of neurons firing while the rats ran the maze were replayed during subsequent REM sleep. This replay wasn't random. It often occurred in the same order, suggesting the brain was rehearsing learned behaviors or consolidating memories. This type of memory consolidation during sleep is considered a cornerstone of the dreaming process. Technological advances have made these studies more precise and less invasive. Miniature wireless EEG devices allow animals to move freely in their natural environments while their brain activity is recorded. Functional MRI scans provide detailed images of brain regions activated during sleep, revealing which areas light up when animals enter different sleep stages. These tools help scientists understand how sleep and dreaming vary across species and what brain circuits are involved. Beyond brain monitoring, ethologists, scientists who study animal behavior, carefully document what animals do before, during, and after sleep. Observations of twitching limbs, vocalizations, facial movements, and eye motions during sleep help correlate specific behaviors with brain activity. Some researchers have even experimented with disrupting REM sleep in animals to see the effects. When REM sleep is suppressed, animals often show impaired memory, increased stress, or changes in mood, which aligns with findings in humans and strengthens the connection between REM sleep, dreaming, and cognitive health. Studying dreams in wild animals poses even greater challenges. In a laboratory, conditions are controlled and variables minimized. But in nature, animals face a dynamic and unpredictable world. Portable EEG devices and non-invasive recording technologies are starting to bring the study of sleep and dreams out into the wild, giving us a glimpse of how animals sleep naturally, how long they dream, and how these patterns relate to their environment, predation risks, and social structures. Scientists also use comparative approaches, studying a wide variety of animals to understand the evolutionary origins of dreaming. By examining species from mammals to birds to reptiles and beyond, researchers can identify common features of sleep and infer when dreaming might have first evolved. For example, many mammals and birds share REM sleep and complex brain structures linked to dreaming, while reptiles show some REM-like states, but less evidence of true REM, suggesting dreaming might have evolved or become more complex in certain lineages. Despite all these advances, much remains unknown. The subjective experience of dreams, what it actually feels like to be an animal dreaming, remains inaccessible. Researchers can only infer dream content and complexity from brain patterns and behaviors. But by combining neuroscience, behavioral observation, evolutionary biology, and new technologies, scientists continue to peel back the layers of this mystery. In the end, the study of animal dreams is not just about curiosity. It deepens our understanding of brain function, cognition, and the evolutionary roots of consciousness. It reminds us that sleep and dreaming are fundamental biological phenomena shared across species, and it reveals that beneath the stillness of sleep, animals may be journeying through rich, complex inner worlds that echo our own. Worlds we are only beginning to glimpse through the eyes of science. So, next time you see your pet twitching in their sleep or a wild animal quietly resting, remember, scientists are working hard to understand those moments, unlocking the secret language of dreams in the animal kingdom, bridging the gap between human and animal minds, one sleep cycle at a time. As we continue exploring the fascinating world of animal dreams, it's impossible to ignore the evolutionary perspective. How and why did dreaming evolve in animals? What survival advantages might it offer? Understanding the evolutionary roots of dreaming not only illuminates the biological importance of sleep, but also helps us appreciate how deeply interconnected all creatures are through this mysterious nightly journey. Sleep itself is an ancient and nearly universal behavior found in animals ranging from simple invertebrates to complex mammals. The presence of sleep across such diverse groups suggests that it serves fundamental biological functions essential for life. Dreaming, often linked to REM sleep, appears in many mammals and birds, and possibly in some reptiles, indicating it evolved quite early in vertebrate history. But what evolutionary pressures might have shaped the emergence of dreaming? One key idea is that dreaming is tightly connected to the brain's ability to learn and remember. Animals face countless challenges daily, finding food, avoiding predators, navigating environments, and interacting socially. The brain must process enormous amounts of information and adapt quickly to changing conditions. Dreaming might have evolved as a way for animals to practice important behaviors offline, during sleep, without the dangers of the waking world. Imagine an early mammal dodging predators in a dense forest. If its brain can replay and refine escape tactics during sleep, it gains a survival edge. Similarly, predators can mentally rehearse hunting strategies to improve success. This ability to simulate scenarios and outcomes internally would have helped shape smarter, more adaptable animals. Over generations, those capable of this internal simulation might have had better survival and reproductive success, driving the evolution of dreaming. Moreover, dreaming may serve emotional regulation and social cohesion. Many animals live in social groups where relationships, cooperation, and hierarchy matter. Emotional experiences such as fear, joy, or grief require processing to maintain psychological balance. Dreams could help animals manage these emotions, reducing stress and improving social interactions. For instance, a primate dreaming about a tense encounter might rehearse responses, easing anxiety upon waking and enhancing group harmony. The presence of REM sleep and dreaming-like brain activity in both mammals and birds suggests that these processes evolved independently but convergently due to similar evolutionary pressures. Birds, with their complex songs and social behaviors, may dream to consolidate vocal learning or social memories. Mammals, with varied social structures and environmental challenges, might use dreaming for multiple adaptive functions. This convergent evolution underscores how crucial dreaming might be across different branches of the animal kingdom. Interestingly, not all animals dream, at least not in the way we understand it. Some species have very little REM sleep or different sleep patterns altogether. This variation tells us that dreaming is likely just one of several evolutionary strategies animals use to maintain brain health, memory, and emotional balance. In animals with simpler nervous systems, sleep might focus more on energy conservation and cell repair, while in animals with complex cognition, dreaming adds an extra layer of mental rehearsal and emotional processing. Studying the evolution of dreaming also raises profound questions about consciousness and self-awareness. Dreaming requires some degree of brain complexity and perhaps a sense of self. The evolution of dreams may have paralleled the evolution of these cognitive capacities, shedding light on how conscious experience itself developed. In this way, dreams offer a unique window into the emergence of mind across the tree of life. The evolutionary perspective also connects us deeply with the animals we share the world with, recognizing that the same basic neural mechanisms that support our dreams also function in dogs, dolphins, birds, and even reptiles, reminds us of our biological kinship. Sleep and dreaming are threads woven into the fabric of life, linking us across species boundaries. Finally, this evolutionary understanding inspires us to respect and protect animals' natural sleep cycles. Human activities often disrupt wildlife sleep through light pollution, noise, and habitat loss, which may affect their ability to dream, learn, and thrive. Conserving natural environments means safeguarding not only animals' waking lives, but also their hidden, dream-filled nights. So, the next time you think about your own dreams or watch a wild animal resting peacefully, remember that dreaming is more than just a curious phenomenon. It's a profound evolutionary achievement shaped by millions of years of natural selection that continues to enrich the lives of countless creatures, including us. Through dreaming, life explores itself in endless ways, blurring the lines between reality and imagination, waking and sleeping, survival and mystery. Dreams hold a captivating allure for humans, rich tapestries woven from our memories, emotions, and imaginations. But when we turn our attention to the animal kingdom, the question becomes, how can we possibly know what animals dream about when they can't tell us? This puzzle has pushed scientists to become creative in their approaches, blending disciplines and technologies to decode the enigmatic world of animal dreams. One of the main challenges is that dreams are inherently subjective experiences, existing solely within the mind. Humans can describe their dreams because they possess language and self-awareness, but animals lack the ability to communicate their inner experiences in words. This forces researchers to rely on indirect evidence, combining behavioral observation, physiological measurements, and neuroscientific techniques to infer the presence and nature of dreams. Scientists often start by looking at sleep architecture, the structure and stages of sleep, in different species. Using EEGs to monitor brainwaves, researchers identify periods of REM sleep, the phase most closely associated with vivid dreaming in humans. The discovery that many mammals and birds experience REM sleep suggests that these animals might also dream. In fact, the brain activity patterns during REM in animals closely mirror those in humans, with bursts of rapid eye movement and brain waves indicative of internal processing. Beyond brainwaves, animal behaviors during sleep provide valuable clues. Many animals twitch their limbs, whiskers, or facial muscles during REM sleep, often corresponding to movements they perform when awake. For example, a sleeping dog may paddle its legs as if running, or a cat's whiskers might twitch as though stalking prey. Such behaviors imply that animals might be mentally acting out dream scenarios, offering a window into their dream content. Further insight comes from memory studies. Experiments with rodents navigating mazes reveal that their brains replay the same neural firing sequences during sleep as when they were awake exploring the maze. This neural rehearsal supports the idea that dreaming serves a role in memory consolidation and learning. The implication is that animals might dream about experiences relevant to their survival, such as finding food, escaping danger, or social interactions. Technological advancements have revolutionized the study of animal dreams. Miniaturized wireless EEG devices allow researchers to monitor brain activity in freely moving animals, even in natural habitats. Functional imaging techniques like fMRI capture real-time brain activity during sleep, revealing which areas are involved in dreaming processes. These tools deepen our understanding of how sleep and dreams function across diverse species. Despite these advances, researchers remain cautious. Without direct communication, the exact content of animal dreams is unknowable. Are their dreams as complex and vivid as human dreams, or simpler sensory fragments? Do animals experience emotions, narratives, or self-awareness in dreams? These questions are still open and drive ongoing research. Interdisciplinary collaboration is key. Neuroscientists, ethologists, psychologists, and evolutionary biologists work together to piece together the puzzle. Studying species with different brain structures and behaviors helps identify universal features of dreaming and what might be unique adaptations. For instance, songbirds offer a model for studying vocal rehearsal during dreams, while primates provide insights into social and emotional dreaming. Ethical considerations also come into play. Ensuring the welfare of animals studied is paramount. Researchers strive to minimize stress and invasiveness, developing methods that respect natural behaviors and environments. Studying dreams in animals not only expands scientific knowledge, but also fosters empathy and appreciation for the complexity of animal minds. In sum, while the direct experience of animal dreams remains elusive, scientific inquiry continues to illuminate their nature. Through a combination of innovative technology, careful observation, and interdisciplinary research, we edge closer to understanding the secret lives animals lead when their eyes are closed. These studies reveal that dreaming is likely a widespread and vital biological phenomenon, reflecting the intricate workings of brains across the animal kingdom and offering profound insights into the nature of consciousness itself. Sleep is a critical period when the brain undergoes numerous processes that help maintain its health and functionality, and dreaming appears to play a significant role in this intricate system. When we think about why animals dream, it's important to consider the biological functions that dreaming might serve. Unlike the vague or mystical notions of dreams in human culture, from a scientific standpoint, dreaming is likely tied to essential brain functions related to memory, learning, emotional regulation, and overall neural maintenance. One of the most widely supported theories is that dreaming, especially during REM sleep, aids in memory consolidation. Throughout the day, animals, including humans, gather vast amounts of sensory information and experiences. But raw data alone isn't enough. The brain needs to process, organize, and store these memories efficiently. During REM sleep, the brain appears to replay or rehearse important information, strengthening neural connections that encode memories. This replay isn't passive, it's an active reactivation of brain circuits involved in learning. In rats, for example, sequences of neural activity experienced while navigating a maze are re-expressed during REM sleep, suggesting that dreaming is part of a mental rehearsal that helps solidify spatial and procedural memories. Dreaming might also support problem-solving and creativity. The brain's activity during REM is unique. It exhibits a mixture of high arousal and reduced inhibition, creating an environment where novel associations and ideas can emerge. Animals might benefit from this state by creatively simulating different scenarios, practicing behavioral responses to potential challenges, or discovering new strategies for survival. This cognitive flexibility could enhance adaptability, giving animals a better chance to cope with complex and changing environments. Emotional processing is another vital function attributed to dreaming. Animals, especially social species, experience a range of emotions: fear, joy, aggression, bonding, and grief, all of which require regulation to maintain psychological well-being. Dreams may provide a safe mental space to work through emotional experiences, reducing stress and anxiety. For example, a predator might dream about hunting, not just to refine technique, but also to manage the excitement or fear associated with the pursuit. Similarly, social animals may dream about interactions with group members, helping to solidify social bonds or resolve conflicts internally. On a more fundamental level, dreaming could support brain plasticity, the ability of neural circuits to change and adapt over time. Sleep is known to promote synaptic pruning and growth, processes crucial for healthy brain development and maintenance. Dreaming might be linked to these processes by coordinating when and how certain neural pathways are strengthened or weakened. This constant reshaping keeps the brain efficient and ready for new learning. Another intriguing idea is that dreaming contributes to the brain's self-monitoring and error correction. During waking hours, animals constantly interact with their environment, making decisions and adjusting behaviors based on feedback. Dreams might allow the brain to simulate and evaluate past actions, fine-tuning motor skills and behavioral responses without real-world risks. This rehearsal could improve performance and reduce mistakes when animals are awake. The biological importance of dreaming extends beyond individual brains to the survival of species. By enhancing memory, learning, emotional balance, and adaptability, dreaming supports the fitness of animals in their ecological niches. Those animals with more effective dreaming and sleep patterns may have an evolutionary advantage, leading to the preservation and refinement of these traits over time. While many of these functions are supported by research, it's essential to acknowledge that much about dreaming remains mysterious. Different species likely experience dreaming differently, with varying degrees of complexity and purpose. In some animals, dreams may primarily reinforce simple survival behaviors, while in others, they might involve complex emotional and social cognition. The common thread is that dreaming appears to be a sophisticated biological mechanism intertwined with brain health and behavior. This perspective shifts our view of dreams from mere fantasies or random brain noise to vital components of brain function that sustain life itself. It reminds us that sleep and dreaming are not luxuries, but necessities for cognitive and emotional well-being. So, when we observe animals sleeping peacefully, twitching paws, or softly vocalizing in their sleep, we can appreciate that behind those closed eyes, intricate processes are underway. Processes that help them learn, adapt, and thrive. Dreams are not just a human experience, but a fundamental biological phenomenon that reflects the remarkable complexity and resilience of animal minds. Understanding the functions of dreaming deepens our respect for sleep and highlights why protecting healthy sleep environments for all animals, including ourselves, is so important. After all, through dreams, the brain continues its lifelong work of growth, repair, and preparation, ensuring that each new day is met with a mind ready to face the world. As we delve deeper into the mysteries of animal dreaming, one question naturally arises: do animals remember their dreams once they wake up? This is a fascinating area because memory, especially of dreams, involves complex brain functions, and understanding it can tell us a lot about how animals experience their inner worlds. For humans, dream recall varies widely. Some remember vivid dreams upon waking, while others rarely recall anything. But for animals, the question of dream memory is even trickier since they can't verbally communicate their experiences. To begin exploring this, it helps to understand how memory works in both waking and sleeping states. Memory formation generally involves encoding, storage, and retrieval processes. During sleep, especially REM sleep, the brain is actively consolidating memories formed during the day, strengthening important neural connections and pruning less relevant information. Dreaming is thought to be part of this consolidation process, where the brain replays experiences in a way that might enhance learning and retention. But remembering a dream after waking up, that is, transferring dream content into waking memory, likely depends on several factors, including brain structure and the nature of the dream itself. In humans, certain brain regions, like the prefrontal cortex, are involved in conscious memory retrieval, and these areas are less active during REM sleep, which might explain why dreams often fade quickly after waking. Animals have varying brain architectures, so their ability to store and retrieve dream memories might differ accordingly. Behavioral observations offer some hints. Some animals display behaviors after waking that suggest lingering effects of their dreams. For instance, a dog might wake up and suddenly appear alert or even startled, as if reacting to something experienced in sleep. Other animals may exhibit behaviors consistent with their dreams, such as cats pouncing or birds chirping softly upon awakening. While these aren't direct signs of dream recall, they hint that dream content might influence behavior immediately after waking. Experimental studies also shed light on this topic. In certain memory tasks, animals show improved performance after sleep periods, indicating that the experiences replayed during dreams could be retained and influence waking behavior. For example, rodents trained to run mazes demonstrate enhanced recall after REM sleep, suggesting that what happens in their sleep, potentially dreams, is remembered in some form. However, this still doesn't confirm that the animals consciously remember dreams like humans do. Instead, it may reflect unconscious memory consolidation. Neuroscientific research provides further clues. Brain imaging and recordings show that some neural circuits involved in memory retrieval activate upon waking, but this activity varies widely between species and individuals. In species with more developed neocortical areas, which support higher cognitive functions, dream recall might be more likely. Animals with simpler brain structures might experience dreams more as fleeting, unconscious processes without lasting memories. The question also ties into consciousness. Dream recall in humans depends not only on memory systems, but also on self-awareness and metacognition, the ability to reflect on one's own thoughts and experiences. While some animals, like great apes, dolphins, and elephants, exhibit signs of self-awareness, it remains debated whether they can consciously reflect on dreams. If animals lack this level of metacognition, they might not remember dreams in the way humans understand it, even if their brains process and consolidate experiences during sleep. Another interesting aspect is the emotional content of dreams. Emotional experiences tend to be better remembered than neutral ones in waking life, and this might hold true for dreams as well. Animals experiencing intense emotions in dreams, such as fear during a predator chase or joy during social play, might have stronger memory traces upon waking, influencing their subsequent behavior. This could explain why animals sometimes seem particularly reactive or calm after certain sleep episodes. Overall, while we cannot definitively say whether animals remember their dreams consciously, the evidence suggests that dream content influences memory consolidation and may affect behavior immediately upon waking. Dreams likely contribute to how animals learn from their experiences and adapt to their environments, even if the animals themselves do not consciously recall these nocturnal adventures. This area remains one of the most intriguing frontiers in sleep research. Future advances in neuroscience and animal cognition may bring new methods to probe the nature of dream memory in animals more directly, perhaps through innovative brain imaging or behavioral experiments designed to link dream content with waking recall. In the meantime, understanding that animals' dreams, whether remembered or not, play a vital role in their mental lives enriches our appreciation of the sleeping creatures around us. It reminds us that beneath those peaceful, twitching bodies lies a world of complex brain activity, shaping memory behavior, and perhaps even the very essence of what it means to be alive. When considering whether animals dream, it's important to acknowledge that not all animals sleep the same way. Sleep patterns vary widely across species, reflecting differences in brain structure, behavior, and ecology. These variations can profoundly influence whether and how animals dream, and understanding these differences helps us appreciate the diversity of sleep and dreaming in the animal kingdom. One of the key distinctions is between species that experience rapid eye movement, REM sleep, and those that do not, or have very limited REM phases. REM sleep is strongly associated with dreaming in humans and many mammals and birds. During REM sleep, the brain shows activity patterns resembling wakefulness, with rapid eye movements, muscle atonia, and vivid brainwaves. Animals that experience robust REM sleep, such as dogs, cats, primates, and birds, are the most likely candidates to have dreams similar to ours. In contrast, some animals, particularly certain reptiles, fish, and invertebrates, exhibit different types of rest that may lack traditional REM sleep. These animals often have slower, more fragmented sleep or periods of quiet rest that do not display the same neural characteristics as mammalian REM. Whether these animals dream at all or have a different form of dreaming remains an open question. It's possible that dreaming, as we understand it, is limited to animals with more complex brain structures capable of generating the particular electrical activity of REM. Even among mammals, sleep patterns vary. Some animals are polyphasic sleepers, meaning they sleep multiple times throughout a 24-hour period, while others have monophasic sleep, consolidated into one long period. Animals like dolphins and some birds exhibit unihemispheric sleep, where one half of the brain sleeps while the other remains awake. This adaptation allows them to maintain vigilance for predators or to surface for air while resting. Such unique sleep patterns raise fascinating questions about how dreaming might occur. Can the half brain that's asleep dream independently? Does the awake half influence dream content? These adaptations suggest that dreaming might not be a uniform experience even within mammals. Hibernating animals add another layer of complexity. During hibernation, animals enter a state of drastically reduced metabolic activity and altered brain function. Sleep is often suspended or severely modified. Whether dreaming occurs during hibernation or only resumes when animals periodically awaken from torpor is still under investigation. The nature of any dreams in these states would likely be quite different, reflecting the altered physiology and cognitive activity. Environmental factors also shape sleep and dreaming. Nocturnal animals, for instance, are active at night and sleep during the day. Their sleep cycles and dream patterns are adapted to their ecological niches. Migratory birds, which can sleep while flying, may experience micro-sleeps and fragmented dream-like states. Animals living in environments with extreme conditions, such as polar regions with long daylight or darkness, adjust their sleep accordingly, which likely affects dreaming as well. Furthermore, developmental stage influences sleep and dreaming. Juvenile animals tend to have more REM sleep than adults, possibly reflecting the importance of dreams in brain development and learning. As animals mature, their sleep architecture changes, which might alter the frequency and content of dreams. Studying these changes provides insights into the role of dreaming across the lifespan. All these variations emphasize that dreaming is not a one-size-fits-all phenomenon. Instead, it's shaped by evolutionary history, brain complexity, environmental pressures, and lifestyle. Dreaming may serve different functions or manifest in diverse ways depending on these factors. For some animals, dreams might be vivid, complex narratives involving social interactions and problem solving. For others, dreaming might be simple sensory replays or even more abstract, unconscious brain activity. Understanding the diversity of sleep and dreaming encourages a broader, more nuanced view of animal minds. It challenges us to move beyond human-centric assumptions and appreciate the wide array of sleeping experiences in nature. Each species has evolved its own unique way of resting and dreaming that fits its ecological needs and cognitive abilities. This diversity also highlights the importance of studying sleep in naturalistic settings, not just in laboratory conditions. Observing animals in their natural environments helps capture the full range of sleep behaviors and potential dreaming patterns. It also reminds us that protecting habitats is crucial, as disruptions to natural sleep cycles can impact animal health, cognition, and survival. In the end, recognizing how varied sleep and dreaming are across species enriches our understanding of consciousness, cognition, and the evolutionary roots of these phenomena. It invites us to consider dreams not as mere curiosities, but as essential, adaptive aspects of life that take many forms in the animal kingdom. Through this lens, every sleeping animal becomes a gateway to exploring the vast and wondrous landscape of the dreaming brain. Dreams have fascinated humans for millennia, not only because of their vivid and sometimes mysterious content, but also because they seem to offer a glimpse into the workings of the mind during sleep. When we shift our focus to the animal kingdom, we enter a world where the nature and purpose of dreams become even more intriguing and complex. Understanding how dreams fit into the broader picture of animal cognition and consciousness is a rich and evolving area of study that blends neuroscience, psychology, ethology, and philosophy. At the heart of this inquiry is the concept of consciousness itself. Consciousness refers to the state of being aware of one's surroundings, sensations, thoughts, and feelings. For humans, this includes a rich inner life that encompasses self-reflection, intentionality, and an ongoing narrative sense of self. Animals, too, display varying levels of awareness and cognitive complexity, but the extent and nature of their conscious experiences, especially during sleep and dreaming, remain hotly debated. Many scientists and philosophers differentiate between basic levels of consciousness, such as sensory awareness, and higher-order consciousness, which includes self-awareness and metacognition, the ability to think about one's own thoughts. Some animals, including great apes, dolphins, elephants, and certain birds like corvids and parrots, have demonstrated behaviors suggesting they possess at least some level of higher-order consciousness while awake. This raises the question, does this conscious complexity extend into their dreaming states? Dreaming might represent a unique state of consciousness, a kind of hybrid where the brain is active and generating experiences internally, but disconnected from direct interaction with the external environment. In humans, dreams often contain surreal, emotional, and sometimes illogical content, blending memories, desires, fears, and fantasies. Whether animals experience similar dream narratives depends partly on the sophistication of their cognitive apparatus, For animals with simpler brains, dreaming may consist mainly of replaying sensory experiences or practicing survival behaviors without the layered symbolism or storytelling seen in human dreams. For example, a mouse might dream about running through a maze, essentially reinforcing learned behaviors and spatial memory. This form of functional dreaming aligns closely with the idea that dreams serve biological and cognitive maintenance roles rather than purely psychological ones. On the other hand, animals with more developed cognitive abilities might experience dreams with richer content involving social interactions, emotions, and even problem-solving scenarios. Some researchers speculate that highly social animals could dream about their relationships, hierarchies, and past experiences with conspecifics, which would be consistent with the emotional regulation functions attributed to dreaming. The question of whether animals possess self-awareness in dreams is particularly tantalizing. Self-awareness in waking life is often tested by the mirror test, or tasks that require an animal to recognize itself as an individual. Whether this self-recognition extends into sleep and dreams is unknown, but would indicate a level of conscious experience during dreaming far beyond mere sensory replay. Brain imaging and electrophysiological studies provide clues about the neural correlates of consciousness during sleep. The activation of certain brain regions during REM sleep suggests that some aspects of conscious experience are maintained even if the nature of this consciousness is altered. The default mode network, associated with self-referential thinking and mind-wandering in humans, shows activity during dreaming, indicating that some internal narrative or mental imagery might occur in animals capable of complex brain functions. However, many animals exhibit what might be considered primary consciousness, a form of awareness limited to the here and now, without extensive self-reflection or abstract thought. In these animals, dreaming might serve practical functions like memory consolidation or motor rehearsal without generating the rich, vivid dreamscapes humans experience. Philosophically, the question of animal consciousness and dreaming challenges our anthropocentric perspectives. It invites us to consider consciousness as a spectrum rather than an all-or-nothing phenomenon. Dreams, then, might be understood as varying in complexity along this spectrum, with different species experiencing different qualities and depths of dream consciousness. Additionally, studying animal dreams provides insights into the evolutionary origins of consciousness. If dreaming is found across a broad range of species, it suggests that the capacity for internal experience during sleep is ancient and fundamental to brain function. This continuity hints at the deep biological roots of consciousness and its adaptive significance. Yet, the limits of our understanding remain significant. Without language, animals cannot describe their dreams, leaving scientists reliant on indirect measures such as brain activity, behavior during sleep, and waking responses. Interpreting these signs requires careful consideration to avoid anthropomorphism, attributing human characteristics to animals without sufficient evidence. Ongoing advances in neurotechnology, cognitive science, and comparative psychology promise to deepen our understanding of animal consciousness and dreaming. Novel brain imaging methods, improved behavioral paradigms, and cross-species comparisons are gradually unveiling the rich inner lives of animals, revealing how they might experience not just the world around them, but their own minds during sleep. Ultimately, exploring the relationship between dreams and consciousness in animals enriches our knowledge of cognition, evolution, and the nature of mind itself. It encourages humility and wonder, reminding us that consciousness is not unique to humans, but a shared heritage that connects us to the living world in profound ways. Through this lens, every dreaming animal becomes a participant in a vast and intricate web of awareness, experience, and life. Dreams have long captivated human curiosity, and when we think about animals, a natural question arises: how do scientists actually study dreams in creatures that cannot tell us what they experience? Since animals obviously cannot describe their dreams in words, researchers must rely on indirect methods to infer whether animals dream and what those dreams might be like. This challenge has led to the development of sophisticated techniques that combine behavioral observation, brain activity, monitoring, and experimental manipulation to piece together the puzzle of animal dreaming. One of the primary tools used to study dreams in animals is polysomnography, a comprehensive method of recording physiological signals during sleep. This includes measuring brainwaves through electroencephalography, EEG, eye movements, muscle tone, and heart rate. By analyzing these signals, scientists can identify different sleep stages, including REM sleep, the stage most strongly associated with vivid dreaming in humans. When researchers observe that an animal exhibits REM sleep with rapid eye movements, muscle atonia, and active brain patterns, it provides strong evidence that the animal might be experiencing dreamlike states. Beyond just identifying REM sleep, scientists also examine the specific neural activity during this phase. Brain recordings from animals like rats, cats, and monkeys have revealed complex patterns of activation in brain areas linked to memory, emotion, and sensory processing. These patterns resemble those seen in human dreaming, suggesting parallels in the experience. For example, in rats, researchers have observed that the sequences of neuron firing that occur while running a maze during the day are replayed in the same order during REM sleep, implying that the brain is reliving or rehearsing those experiences in a way that could correspond to dreaming. Behavioral signs during sleep offer another important clue. Many animals display subtle movements like twitching paws, whiskers, or ears, as well as vocalizations during REM sleep. These behaviors can reflect dream content, such as chasing prey, grooming, or interacting socially. Observing these actions gives researchers valuable insight into the types of experiences animals might be processing during dreams. In addition to passive observation, scientists have conducted experiments to explore how altering sleep impacts memory and learning, indirectly shedding light on the function of dreams. For example, when animals are deprived of REM sleep, their performance on learning tasks often declines, supporting the idea that dreams or REM-related brain activity are crucial for memory consolidation. This causal link strengthens the argument that animals' dreams serve important biological functions, even if we cannot access the dream's subjective content directly. Recent advances in neurotechnology have opened exciting new avenues for studying animal dreams. Techniques such as optogenetics allow researchers to manipulate specific neurons during sleep, enabling them to probe how activating or inhibiting certain brain circuits affects sleep patterns and dreamlike activity. Functional imaging tools also provide real-time visualization of brain activity in awake and sleeping animals, revealing how different regions communicate during dreams. Ethologists and neuroscientists are increasingly combining these physiological tools with naturalistic behavioral studies, observing animals in their habitats or enriched environments. This holistic approach helps contextualize how dreams might relate to an animal's everyday life, survival challenges, and social interactions. Understanding dreaming within the full scope of an animal's ecology is crucial for interpreting what dreams mean for that species. Despite these advances, studying animal dreams remains inherently indirect and inferential. We can measure brain activity and behavior, but the subjective experience, the qualia of dreaming, is inaccessible without language. Researchers must remain cautious about overinterpreting findings or anthropomorphizing animals' inner lives. Instead, the goal is to build a robust scientific framework that integrates diverse lines of evidence. The pursuit of understanding animal dreams not only advances neuroscience, but also enriches our appreciation of animal cognition and consciousness. It challenges us to recognize that dreaming is a widespread and vital phenomenon across the animal kingdom, deeply rooted in brain function and evolutionary history. By refining our scientific tools and expanding our perspectives, we move closer to unveiling the mysterious nocturnal worlds animals inhabit. In the end, the study of animal dreaming embodies the spirit of curiosity and empathy, seeking to understand minds unlike our own and bridging the gap between species through the universal experience of sleep. It reminds us that beneath the stillness of slumber lies a dynamic, hidden life full of meaning and wonder, shared by humans and animals alike. The idea that animals might dream just like humans do often sparks curiosity and wonder, but it also raises important ethical considerations about how we treat and care for them. If animals experience dreams, and by extension have complex inner lives during sleep, this suggests a level of sentience and mental experience that demands respect and thoughtful treatment. Understanding the ethical implications of animal dreaming touches on issues ranging from animal welfare and rights to how humans interact with and impact the natural world. First, recognizing that animals likely experience dreams challenges outdated notions that animals are purely instinct-driven machines without subjective experience. Dreams are part of an animal's mental life, reflecting cognitive and emotional processes that suggest a depth of consciousness. This recognition pushes us to reconsider how we view animals, not as objects or property, but as beings with their own experiences, emotions, and possibly even suffering or joy during sleep. Such insights strengthen arguments for more humane treatment in contexts ranging from farming and captivity to wildlife management and research. The welfare implications are significant. Sleep quality is a crucial component of overall health for all animals. If animals dream, interruptions to their natural sleep cycles could cause distress, impair cognitive function, or affect emotional well-being. In captivity, whether in zoos, laboratories, or homes, animals might be deprived of adequate conditions for restorative sleep, including REM phases associated with dreaming. This deprivation may lead to frustration, stress, or behavioral problems. Ethical animal care, therefore, should include ensuring environments that support natural sleep patterns and minimize disturbances, recognizing the importance of dreaming as part of healthy brain function. Furthermore, animals dreaming may mean they experience fear, anxiety, or trauma in their dreams, just as humans sometimes do. For animals subjected to stressful or abusive environments, nightmares could be a source of suffering. This possibility adds urgency to ethical concerns about the conditions under which animals live. It also highlights the need for enrichment, comfort, and psychological care in animal husbandry and veterinary practices, aiming to promote mental as well as physical health. The question of animal dreaming also intersects with debates about animal rights and legal protections. If dreaming reflects a degree of consciousness and subjective experience, it strengthens the case that animals deserve legal consideration beyond property status. Laws and policies might be re-evaluated to better protect animals' mental lives, including their right to undisturbed sleep and safe, enriched environments conducive to natural behaviors and rest. In wildlife conservation, understanding animal sleep and dreaming emphasizes the importance of preserving habitats where animals can maintain their natural sleep cycles. Human activities like urbanization, light pollution, noise, and habitat destruction can disrupt sleep patterns, potentially impacting dreaming and the cognitive health of wild animals. Conservation efforts that consider these factors contribute to protecting not only the physical survival of species, but also their mental well-being. Ethically, acknowledging animal dreams invites a broader reflection on humanity's relationship with the animal world. It calls for humility and compassion, recognizing that the animals sharing our planet lead rich inner lives, full of experiences both awake and asleep. This awareness can inspire more responsible stewardship, fostering coexistence that respects the dignity and needs of all living beings. Finally, appreciating the presence of dreams in animals enriches our own understanding of consciousness and connection across species. It reminds us that dreaming is a universal phenomenon, a thread linking humans with the diverse tapestry of life. This perspective encourages empathy and ethical responsibility, shaping how we interact with animals in every sphere of life, from scientific research and agriculture to companionship and conservation. In sum, the ethical implications of animal dreaming extend far beyond scientific curiosity. They touch on fundamental questions about respect, care, and justice for other beings. Recognizing that animals dream urges us to create a world where their physical and mental needs are honored, their suffering minimized, and their lives valued as meaningful. Through this lens, the study of animal dreams becomes not only a scientific endeavor, but a moral call to action. When we consider the possibility that animals dream, one of the most fascinating and complex questions that arises is, what purposes do these dreams serve? Dreams in humans have been linked to numerous cognitive and emotional functions, such as memory consolidation, emotional regulation, problem solving, and even creativity. But what about animals? Why would dreaming have evolved across so many species? And what roles might it play in their lives? One of the leading theories about the purpose of dreaming focuses on memory consolidation. During sleep, especially REM sleep, the brain appears to process and organize information gathered during waking hours. In humans, this process helps strengthen important memories while filtering out irrelevant or redundant information. Studies in animals, especially in rodents, have provided compelling evidence that similar mechanisms operate during their sleep. For example, neurons in the hippocampus, a brain region critical for spatial memory, replay patterns of activity during sleep that mirror those experienced while the animal was awake. This neural replay is thought to strengthen neural connections, helping animals remember important routes, locations of food, or escape strategies. Dreaming, therefore, may be an evolutionary adaptation that enhances survival by supporting efficient learning and memory. Beyond memory, dreaming in animals may serve an emotional processing function. Emotions are deeply intertwined with survival, guiding animals to approach beneficial stimuli and avoid dangers. Just as humans often dream about emotionally charged experiences, animals might use their dreams to process and make sense of their daily interactions, especially stressful or novel ones. This kind of emotional rehearsal could help animals manage fear, anxiety, or social conflicts, allowing them to respond more effectively in the future. For social animals, dreaming might even play a role in maintaining social bonds and understanding social hierarchies, which are crucial for group cohesion and cooperation. Another intriguing idea is that dreams may provide a safe space for rehearsal of behaviors without real-world risks. Predators might practice hunting techniques, prey might simulate escape responses, and animals might mentally prepare for complex tasks, all within the protected environment of their dreams. This form of motor rehearsal could improve an animal's physical coordination and readiness, giving it an edge when awake. Dreams may also facilitate creativity and problem-solving. While this idea is more speculative in animals, humans often report insights or novel solutions arising from dreams. It is possible that animals' dreams combine and recombine sensory and experiential information in novel ways, helping them to discover new strategies or adapt to changing environments. This function would be especially beneficial in dynamic or challenging habitats where flexibility is key to survival. The biological functions of dreaming are likely complemented by its role in brain maintenance. Sleep, particularly REM sleep, supports neural plasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize and adapt. Dreams may be a byproduct of this process, reflecting the brain's active remodeling and strengthening of neural networks. By keeping the brain's circuits active during sleep, dreaming might help prevent cognitive decline and maintain alertness and responsiveness when awake. It is important to remember that the functions of dreaming are probably multifaceted and species-specific. Different animals may use dreams in different ways, depending on their ecological niches, cognitive abilities, and social structures. For example, solitary animals might have dreams focused on survival and navigation, while social animals might have dreams rich in social content and emotional nuance. Additionally, the extent and nature of dreaming may vary according to age, with juveniles potentially relying more on dreams for learning and brain development. Finally, considering the evolutionary perspective, dreaming likely conferred selective advantages that favored its persistence across diverse species. By supporting learning, emotional regulation, rehearsal, creativity, and brain health, dreams contribute to an animal's overall fitness and adaptability. Understanding these purposes not only sheds light on the phenomenon of dreaming itself, but also deepens our appreciation for the complex mental lives of animals. Through ongoing research, we continue to unravel the many roles that dreams play in the animal kingdom, revealing a rich tapestry of cognitive and emotional functions that link us with other creatures in the shared experience of sleep. These insights not only inform science, but also inspire greater empathy and respect for the lives of the animals around us. When we explore the question of whether animals dream like humans do, it naturally leads us to ponder the evolutionary roots of dreaming and sleep. Understanding how and why dreaming evolved can provide profound insights into both the biological functions of sleep and the nature of consciousness itself. The presence of dreaming across diverse species suggests that it is an ancient and deeply embedded phenomenon, one that has likely played a crucial role in survival and adaptation for millions of years. Sleep is a universal behavior observed across the animal kingdom, from simple invertebrates to complex mammals and birds. Despite vast differences in brain size, structure, and lifestyle, many animals experience distinct stages of sleep, including rapid eye movement, REM sleep, which is strongly associated with dreaming in humans. The widespread occurrence of REM-like sleep across phylogenetically distant species implies that the mechanisms underpinning dreaming may have originated very early in evolutionary history. This raises fascinating questions about the selective pressures that favored the development of dreaming and how it might have contributed to the success of various species. One hypothesis is that dreaming evolved as part of a broader suite of functions related to memory consolidation and cognitive processing. As animals faced increasingly complex environments and challenges, the ability to efficiently process and integrate information gathered during waking hours became vital. Dreaming, occurring during REM sleep, may have provided a unique state in which the brain could replay, reorganize, and strengthen memories without interference from external stimuli. This capacity for offline processing would have allowed animals to better learn from their experiences, adapt to changing circumstances, and refine behaviors critical for survival, such as finding food, avoiding predators, or navigating social hierarchies. The evolution of dreaming may also be closely tied to the development of consciousness and self-awareness. As nervous systems grew more sophisticated, the internal generation of experiences during sleep could have supported the emergence of more complex mental phenomena. Dreaming may represent an early form of subjective experience, a window into the brain's ability to simulate reality internally. This internal simulation could serve multiple functions, from rehearsing potential scenarios to exploring emotional responses in a safe environment. The fact that many animals show signs of REM sleep and brain activity patterns similar to those seen in dreaming humans suggests that the roots of conscious experience during sleep run deep in the evolutionary tree. Another intriguing aspect is the role of sociality in the evolution of dreaming. Highly social species, such as primates, cetaceans, and some birds, often exhibit advanced cognitive skills and complex social behaviors. For these animals, dreams might provide a means to process social information, maintain relationships, and manage social stress. The evolutionary benefits of such functions could be substantial, promoting group cohesion and cooperation, which are critical for survival in social groups. In this way, dreaming could have contributed not only to individual fitness, but also to the success of social species as a whole. Comparative studies across species also reveal that the structure and amount of REM sleep, and by extension dreaming, vary widely, reflecting adaptations to different ecological niches and life histories. For instance, prey animals might have shorter or more fragmented REM periods to remain vigilant, while predators might enjoy longer, uninterrupted REM phases. These variations suggest that the evolutionary pressures shaping dreaming are complex and multifactorial, balancing the need for restorative and cognitive benefits against survival risks. The evolutionary perspective also highlights how dreaming is interconnected with other biological processes, such as emotional regulation and brain plasticity. As animals face diverse challenges in their environments, the ability to manage stress and maintain flexible brain networks would have been advantageous. Dreaming may thus serve as a vital mechanism for maintaining mental health and cognitive resilience, enabling animals to cope with the demands of their ecological contexts. By studying the evolutionary origins of dreaming, scientists gain a richer understanding of why sleep and dreams have endured, despite their apparent vulnerability. Sleep involves a period of unconsciousness and immobility that can expose animals to danger. The persistence of dreaming underscores its adaptive value, revealing it as a fundamental feature of brain function that enhances survival and well-being. This evolutionary lens also invites us to consider our own dreaming experiences as part of a continuum shared with countless other species. Rather than viewing dreams as uniquely human or mystical phenomena, we come to appreciate them as natural outcomes of ancient biological processes. This perspective fosters a deeper connection with the animal world, emphasizing commonalities in mental life that transcend species boundaries. In conclusion, the evolution of dreaming is a fascinating story of how complex brains developed mechanisms for memory, emotion, and consciousness that are expressed during sleep. It reflects the interplay of environmental challenges, cognitive demands, and social dynamics that have shaped life on Earth. Exploring this evolutionary history enriches our understanding of both animals and ourselves, illuminating the profound significance of dreams as a universal biological phenomenon. Through this understanding, we gain not only scientific knowledge, but also a profound appreciation for the shared threads of life and experience that bind all living beings. The exploration of animal dreams naturally leads to the fascinating question of how scientific research into this mysterious realm is conducted. Investigating whether animals dream and what those dreams might entail presents unique challenges, given that animals cannot verbally communicate their experiences. To overcome this, researchers have developed a variety of innovative methods that combine neuroscience, behavioral observation, and cutting-edge technology to gather insights into animal dreaming. One of the fundamental tools in this research is the use of electroencephalography, or EEG, which records electrical activity in the brain. By placing electrodes on or inside an animal's skull, scientists can monitor brainwaves during different stages of sleep. These recordings allow researchers to identify when an animal enters REM sleep, the phase most closely linked with dreaming in humans. EEG patterns in animals such as rats, cats, and primates often show remarkable similarity to those in humans, featuring characteristic rapid eye movements and low muscle tone during REM phases, suggesting comparable sleep states that might include dreaming. Alongside EEG, researchers utilize electromyography, EMG, to measure muscle activity, and electrooculography, EOG, to track eye movements. These complementary methods help differentiate REM sleep from other sleep stages by showing the characteristic muscle paralysis and rapid eye movements that accompany dreaming. By combining these physiological measures, scientists create a comprehensive picture of an animal's sleep architecture, which is essential for inferring dreaming. In addition to direct brain monitoring, behavioral observations provide valuable clues. Many animals display twitching of limbs, whiskers, or tails, and sometimes emit vocalizations during REM sleep, behaviors that parallel the physical manifestations seen in dreaming humans. For example, a dog might appear to be running or chasing something in its sleep, moving its paws, or growling softly. These observable behaviors offer indirect evidence that animals may be experiencing dream content related to their waking activities or instincts. Beyond observational methods, experimental studies have significantly advanced our understanding of animal dreaming. Scientists have conducted experiments that manipulate sleep conditions, such as selectively depriving animals of REM sleep, to assess the impact on learning, memory, and behavior. These studies frequently find that when REM sleep is disrupted, animals exhibit impairments in tasks that require memory consolidation or emotional regulation, supporting the notion that REM-associated dreaming plays important functional roles. More recently, researchers have harnessed advanced neuroimaging techniques like functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, and positron emission tomography, PET, scans adapted for animals. These methods enable visualization of brain regions active during sleep, revealing networks involved in sensory processing, memory, and emotion that are engaged during REM phases. Such imaging provides compelling evidence that animal brains undergo complex, dynamic activity patterns consistent with dream states. Optogenetics and other neural manipulation techniques have opened new frontiers in this field. By selectively activating or silencing specific neurons during sleep, scientists can probe the causal relationships between brain activity and dreamlike phenomena. These approaches help unravel how particular brain circuits contribute to the generation and content of dreams, offering unprecedented insight into the neurobiology of animal dreaming. Field studies add another layer of understanding by observing sleep behaviors in natural environments. Technologies such as lightweight EEG collars and remote video monitoring allow scientists to study animals in the wild, capturing how ecological factors influence sleep patterns and dreaming. These observations reveal how animals adapt their sleep and potentially their dreams to threats, social contexts, and environmental demands, highlighting the ecological relevance of dreaming. Despite these advances, interpreting animal dreams remains inherently inferential. Researchers must carefully avoid anthropomorphism, the projection of human qualities onto animals, and instead rely on rigorous, reproducible evidence. Integrating multiple lines of data from physiology, behavior, and brain imaging strengthens conclusions and helps build a scientifically sound picture of animal dreaming. Ethical considerations are paramount in this research, ensuring that studies minimize stress and harm to animals while maximizing the knowledge gained. The pursuit of understanding animal dreams not only advances neuroscience, but also fosters empathy and respect for the inner lives of other creatures. In summary, the scientific study of animal dreaming is a multidisciplinary endeavor combining neurophysiology, behavior, technology, and ecology. Through innovative methods and careful experimentation, researchers are gradually uncovering the secrets of the dreaming brain in animals, revealing a rich and complex world that parallels human experience. This growing body of knowledge not only expands our understanding of sleep and consciousness, but also deepens our connection to the diverse forms of life with whom we share the planet. As we conclude our exploration into the fascinating world of animal dreams, it becomes clear that this subject opens up vast new horizons in our understanding of both the animal kingdom and ourselves. The study of whether and how animals dream challenges us to rethink many long-held assumptions about consciousness, cognition, and the nature of experience across species. It invites us to consider the profound similarities that connect us with other living beings, as well as the remarkable diversity that defines life on Earth. The journey through scientific findings reveals that dreaming is not an exclusively human trait, but rather a widespread phenomenon found in many animals, particularly those with complex nervous systems, such as mammals and birds. The evidence from brainwave studies, behavioral observations, and experimental interventions all point toward the existence of dreamlike states in animals, suggesting that they too engage in mental activity during sleep that may mirror human dreaming. This realization is both humbling and inspiring, reminding us that the boundary between human and animal minds is not as sharp as once believed. Delving into the potential functions of dreams in animals further underscores the evolutionary importance of this phenomenon. Dreams appear to serve critical roles in memory consolidation, emotional regulation, behavioral rehearsal, and brain plasticity. These functions not only improve an animal's chances of survival, but also enhance their ability to adapt to changing environments and social situations. Dreaming thus emerges as a key aspect of cognitive health and well-being across species, highlighting the interconnectedness of brain, behavior, and environment. Ethical reflections naturally arise from these insights, recognizing that animals have rich inner lives, including dream experiences, calls for greater compassion and responsibility in how we treat them. Whether in captivity, agriculture, research, or wildlife conservation, the welfare of animals must encompass not only their physical needs, but also their mental and emotional health. Ensuring that animals have the opportunity for natural, undisturbed sleep is part of respecting their intrinsic value and complexity. The technological and methodological advances that have propelled animal dream research also demonstrate the power of scientific innovation to deepen our empathy and knowledge. From EEG recordings and neuroimaging to behavioral analyses and field studies, the tools at scientists' disposal enable a multidimensional understanding of sleep and dreaming. This integrative approach helps bridge gaps between disciplines and species, fostering a more holistic view of consciousness and cognition. Looking ahead, the field of animal dream research promises many exciting developments. Future studies may uncover how different species experience dreams in unique ways, shaped by their ecology, social structures, and cognitive capacities. Advances in brain-machine interfaces and neural decoding could one day allow us to interpret dream content more directly, offering unprecedented windows into the subjective worlds of animals. Such breakthroughs would revolutionize our understanding of consciousness and deepen the ethical dialogue surrounding animal minds. Moreover, the exploration of animal dreams invites broader philosophical questions about the nature of reality, the mind, and what it means to be sentient. Dreaming challenges our notions of waking life as the sole realm of authentic experience, and suggests that mental life continues in complex, meaningful ways even when we are asleep. Recognizing that other creatures share this capacity enriches the tapestry of life and invites a more inclusive perspective on the diversity of consciousness. In embracing the study of animal dreams, we also embrace a deeper connection with the natural world. It reminds us that despite vast differences in appearance and lifestyle, Many living beings share fundamental biological processes and mental experiences. This shared ground fosters a sense of kinship and stewardship, encouraging us to protect and cherish the rich array of life forms with whom we coexist. Ultimately, the investigation of animal dreaming is not just a scientific pursuit, but a profound exploration of life itself. It challenges us to look beyond our human perspective and appreciate the mysterious, beautiful inner lives of other beings. Through this understanding, we cultivate curiosity, humility, and respect, qualities essential for nurturing a more compassionate and interconnected world. As the sleepy biologist, I hope this journey has sparked your imagination and inspired you to see animals and dreams in a new light. Whether you're watching from a bustling city, a quiet countryside, or anywhere in between, remember that sleep and dreaming are universal experiences that unite us all. Thank you for joining me on this fascinating exploration, and I look forward to continuing to uncover the secrets of the sleeping brain together.